So first time Kyle O'Reilly and I meet. It's Eldon, Missouri, Harley Race Camp, and we were doing a thing called the Four Corners drill. Now Kyle and I did not know each other, but I found this out later. He jumped at the opportunity to get into the ring with me during that four corner drill because he had seen me working for Noah. I was definitely low man on the totem pole, but I was an American working in Japan for Noah. So he thought, and rightfully so, like if I get in there and do well with him, maybe they'll take an interest in me. And that's exactly why he jumped at the chance to get in there and go. Four corner drill is so the person in the ring puts heat. It's what we call putting heat on somebody is like just beating them up. So it's understood that you're gonna be offensive to your opponent, and then your opponent is gonna sell. At least the way the drill was set up was you're gonna sell the damage from one corner to the next corner to the next corner, always moving to the right, and you go all the way through. Once you get finished, once you get to that fourth corner, that person's gonna stop you, turn it around, and then you're gonna sell corner to corner to corner. Well, Kyle and I get in the ring, and he puts offense on me first, and Kyle proceeds to beat the shit out of me in that first corner. So eventually I sell to the second corner, and Kyle proceeds to beat the shit out of me in the second corner. So I think we got this far. I sell to the third corner, and by that point, I've had enough. Like, he is just putting it on me, and so I turn it around early on him, and then I beat the shit out of him, corner to corner to corner to corner. I know we hit all four corners, and the truth of the situation was this: is that Kyle, much like many people who were not experienced with Japanese pro wrestling, or not firsthand. So like we would watch it. And you got to remember when you're watching those, like the big matches, these are the pay-per-view matches. These are the title matches. Like when the TV, when the light is on, we called it red light fever over there. When the light is on, like the Japanese boys, they went hard. But those were the big shows where you had to bring it, and because that's what most of the fans, the American pro wrestling youngsters coming up, we would get those pay-per-views, those big events. So we always saw them when the boys there were in like red light mode, like they were going hard. So we thought, or were under the misinterpretation that like, well, they're beating the shit out of each other every night like that. So Kyle was under that impression. And so when we were in that camp and we got in that ring and it was to put heat on one another, he figured that I was going to do that to him. So he did it to me first. Now, a couple years prior to that, I had been working for Pro Wrestling Noah, and I made the same damn mistake being over there and working with the boys too stiff. So I remember there was a tag match that I did, and Sugira, Takeshi Sugira, I might be getting the first name wrong, or well, last name, I don't know. In Japan, it's back, whatever. But he got pretty what we would call stiff with me in that match, and after it was over, Loki, who was in that match with me, he let me know, hey, you know what happened out there, right? And I of course I was clueless, and he was, and I said like, no, I don't. And so Sugira got pretty rough with me, pretty stiff with me in that match, and he was like, hey, he is letting you know, like, you need to lighten up. Like, you're striking too hard, when you're hitting them back, or you're too snug with your holds, like if you're taking an arm wringer or something, if you're at what would be considered like a crowbar, you're hard to move, and you are being too stiff when you're moving them. So in a working fashion, it's the more experienced guy's job to show you that, like, hey, you need to lighten up. And so that's what Sugira did. I mean, he didn't do it in a way that was dangerous, but he did do it in a way that, like, let's just say, was left a little bit of a mark. And then low key, because I was, stupid as hell, had to let me know, hey, this is what happened. But message was delivered and was received. And so now here it was a couple of years later, and we're at the same camp that I started to work for Noah out of. And Kyle is there with me in this drill, making the same exact mistake that I had made years previous. And so now I'm in the position of Sugira where, like, I need to somehow let this guy, Kyle O'Reilly, know that, like, hey, you're misunderstanding a little bit. So I think by the time we made it to the second corner, I had turned it around on Kyle. And in a working fashion, I guess, to some degree, I beat the shit out of Kyle, corner to corner to corner. And it just kind of was what it was. All these years later, Kyle and I would talk about it, obviously, because we became what we became to each other's careers. And he's like, I didn't know. I just thought, like, okay, this is how he works. And when in actuality, like, I was trying to pass on that same lesson that Sugira taught me to this younger guy. Because at that time, like, yeah, I mean, Kyle and I didn't really know each other. But I think the message was delivered. I think it was received. And in my limited understanding at the time, because it was new learning for me pretty much as well. Like, I'd only learned it maybe a year before, and you're never done learning. So we were just a couple of fucking idiots, just with a very primitive understanding of how to do professional wrestling, and just beating the shit out of each other. Beating the fuck out of each other for no reason, in a drill, in front of other quote-unquote wrestlers, no fans, not getting paid a dime. In fact, probably paid, well, Kyle did that year pay to be at that camp. And I, 2 years previous, paid to be at that camp. But yeah, so here we were, two idiots, just beating the shit out of each other. And yeah, that's how Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, that's how we met and became thick as thieves, became best of friends. Yeah, that's how pro wrestling works.